Let's try sewing a buttonhole. There are 15 different buttonhole styles on this machine, but let's use the Joy of Sewing Advisor to pick the best one for our fabric. So woven medium and buttonhole for the technique. And a quick look at the instructions. They're all built into the machine and you can work your way through step by step, and there's even a video at the end there. I need the centre buttonhole foot. You can see that pictured on the screen along with the needle and stabiliser recommendation. So this is the foot I'm talking about. What I will show you before we fit it to the machine is how to set the red wheel. This is really important. Can you see there's a white mark on the wheel which you match up with the white mark on the housing? If you don't do that before you sew, you will end up with wonky buttonholes. So let's put the foot on. Get the thread out the way underneath. And this plug inserts into the socket at the back of the machine, just here. And as you plug it in, you will see the display change here as the machine recognises the foot. So I've got a piece of woven twill fabric with some stabiliser. I'm going to fold this in half with the stabiliser inside. Stabiliser makes a big difference to the appearance of the finished buttonhole. And I'm going to put it under the foot with the right side of the foot to the fold. Remember that the buttonhole will start at the end nearest to you. And you need to make sure that the white marks I showed you earlier match. You can press foot down to bring the foot up slightly, or just lift the black part up gently to adjust the red wheel. Okay, that's in position. We now need to make sure the buttonhole will be the right size for our button. Let me just adjust the camera. There's a measuring scale on the base plate of the machine. You can just place the button on the top to measure the diameter. That's 15 millimeters. So we can adjust the button size on screen to match here. Okay, let's sew. It does a straight line backwards and then comes forward with a zigzag. Does a bar tack and then back up the other side, bar tack again, zigzag forward, and finishes. Cut the thread, and there's our buttonhole. I'm going to snip the threads off. There we go. Shall we cut it and see if it fits? Yeah, seam ripper is not the best thing. And there it is, perfect. So now let's see how easy it is to do another one exactly the same. So thread out the way, back into the machine, line up the right edge of the foot with the fold, set our little red wheel, and off we go. Cut the thread. There we are, two identical buttonholes. There's some more adjustments we can do. We can press the switch on the button size control and you get stitch density. we can close up the stitches or open them out, and we can alter the width. You can see that getting wider. And we can go into the stitch menu and look at all the buttonhole styles you have to choose from. So that's perfect repeating buttonholes. Now we're going to do a blind hem. So a blind hem is stitched from the back to be virtually invisible from the right side. We're going to go to our Joyous Sewing Advisor, pick woven medium. The fabric I've got is a wool mix suitable for a skirt maybe, and pick the blind hem technique. Looking at the instructions, it takes you all the way through the process, and if we look at this video right from the beginning, from what you need to get together to get started right to the end completion. Just going to fast forward a little. What people often find difficult to remember is how to fold the fabric and which way is the right side if the fabric doesn't have an obvious wrong side. So the video shows you how to fold and sew the hem. Minimise that out of the way. We use the D foot for this. I need to just take off the buttonhole foot. The groove underneath will guide the fold of the fabric. Okay, ready to go. So I fold my hem like this. This is the right side and the wrong side. And then I fold again so that when you look at the end, the fold is an S shape. So it's going in the machine wrong side up. Most of the stitching will be on the right on the turning. Remember that groove under the foot? The fold is locked into that. Now as you sew, you need to catch into the fold as the needle swings to the left. We may need to adjust the needle position. So in the stitch settings, the stitch width has a little switch to change to needle position. Increasing moves to the right, decreasing moves to the left, and you can see the needle moves. So if we start to sew, keeping that fold locked in the groove under the foot. If your needle isn't catching the fold, move to the left. If it's catching too much and it's going to show on the front, move to the right. It's also a lot easier if you've pinned it before you started. Just adjust that last bit. And cut the thread. So that's how it comes out the machine wrong side, and with the hem folded back in place and the front. We have a choice of 29 needle positions. I have here a piece of woven twill fabric. Using the Joyous Sewing Advisor, I'm going to select medium woven and seam. Just minimise that out of the way. We need an A foot, so let's swap that over. The choice of needle position makes it really easy to sew zippers or cording, piping, that sort of thing, and is great for top stitching, under stitching, stitching the ditch, anything where you need the needle precisely placed. So that's folded in half and lower the presser foot. So to start with, we're sewing with the needle in the centre. I've got the right edge of the foot on the fold. Now if I move that needle over to the left, that's minus 3.5. Watch the needle. You see it going across? That's set at minus 3.5 now, and we're going to sew again. And the quick way to get all the way over to the right is use mirror image. Oops, there we go, it's gone to the right, and so again. And then we're going to adjust back to the centre, which will be 0. Which is its standard setting, gone black. And cut. So you have all that adjustment without ever taking the fabric out of the machine. Applique with the sensor system and needle positioning is easy. I've got a square of background fabric and stabiliser and a small blue square to applique on the top. We're going to select the stitch menu, and we can scroll through all the different categories by swiping along the bottom. We're looking for category B, applique. There we go. And then we want stitch 9, which is a blanket or pin stitch. We also need to use presser foot B, so I need to change that over. Okay, just get the thread underneath. So we're going to line up the edge of the small blue square with the right hand red mark on the presser foot. Let's just get that part way through. Okay, so just here. If you need to at this point, you have the option to change the needle position as well, if it makes it easier. Needle down. So we start to sew. If you do find you can't control it, it's too quick for you, you can limit the speed. Might be a bit easier for most people. Well, I'm getting it started, I'm just keeping it flat. Stop things moving. There's no glue or anything of this, of course, so quite often with applique you're using temporary adhesive or a lightweight sheet of adhesive. We haven't got anything like that on here. So when you get towards the corner, slow right down. You can tap the foot pedal to precisely control the needle up and down to stop precisely in the right place. And the sensor system allows you to pivot precisely on the corner. Bit easier now we've got one side stitched down. And again, as we get towards the corner, it's slow down, and you can use the foot pedal to precisely tap and bring the needle up, down, as you need to. And at the corner, if you want to make sure that the stitching isn't going to go backwards, if you're doing a complicated pattern, the stitch start over button will make sure that it starts from the beginning at every corner. Okay, I think I'm going to stop at that corner. I'll not go any further, and take it out of the machine and let you see what it looks like. Just get it precisely in the corner. I'm going to cut. And there's the finished article. Look how neat that is. A really, really professional finish.
If you would like any further information about the machine, please do get in touch. You can visit our website where you'll be able to find your local dealer who will also be able to help you with any more information you need.